So this is the white willow or the Salix alba. And there's actually a brilliant story to this. So in 400 BC, Hippocrates, who was a Greek philosopher and later known as the first doctor in history, had noticed that people who worked in the fields in certain villages would always be chewing its bark. And when he asked what they were chewing, they said, oh, we're chewing the bark of this tree, which was the white willow tree or willow tree, both the black and white are medicinal. Then they said that it helped with the aches and pains of the work of working in the fields. You know, that in the evenings that always have aches and pains from all the work, and apparently it helped with easing that pain. But they also noted that if someone who chewed the willow bark was injured, the injury would bleed continuously and the bleeding wouldn't stop. So then after that, Hippocrates began prescribing willow bark to be chewed for general aches and pains. Now, hundreds of years later, the phytocompounds were analysed and we actually found that it contained a compound called salicylic acid, which is also known as aspirin.
Wow.
The white willow is in fact where aspirin comes from. Now, the particular mechanism of action of salicylic acid or aspirin is that it prevents the production of inflammatory chemicals, and one of those is thromboxane, which is the chemical that's in your blood, which when you're injured causes your blood to clot. So by preventing the production of those clotting factors, then it actually thins out the blood or prevents clotting. So just like we know that aspirin, when you take aspirin, if you get a cut, it will bleed for long periods of time. So for someone who's at high risk of clots, like those who have had previous heart attacks or strokes, they recommend taking aspirin. So the white willow is used medicinally for its aspirin-like effects, and the way that we would use it is by collecting the fresher underbark, so not the dirty stuff on the surface, but by collecting the bark, drying it, and then you can blend it to make a powder, and you would boil it for about 20 minutes to 30 minutes because it's a woodier bark, and then you would drink the tea. There is a word of precaution though with willow bark and aspirin, is that it can set off asthma attacks for those who have asthma. So that would be one precaution with this herbal medicine. But so that's the white willow.
Wow. Holy moly.
How about that?
That is so cool. Like
I used to live opposite this big willow tree, and I used to get aches and pains all the time. Was I thinking about it? Of course I wasn't.
Yeah.